My name is Elena Rhodes, and I was 29 the day my world ended with a single voicemail. That's how I wish the story began. Calm, poetic, almost nostalgic. But the truth? It started with my mom's voice, shaking with a mix of fury and relief, as if cutting me off was the final item left on her to-do list. You're not family to us, don't come back. We're moving on without. Beep. The message cut off before she could finish the sentence. The silence after the beep was louder than the voicemail. I remember standing in my tiny rented room, one lamp, one cracked window, one mattress on the floor, holding my phone like it was radioactive. My chest tightened, not because of what she said, but because of what I knew was coming next. I replayed the message. Once. Twice. 5 times. Each time the same words sliced deeper. Not family, don't come back, moving on. For 29 years, I had bent myself into shapes to fit the Rhodes family mold. Dutiful daughter, second choice, emotional punching bag. But estrangement? This was new. This was final. My roommate Mia peeked from the hallway. Elena? You look like you saw a ghost. I swallowed hard. I think my mom just disowned me. Mia stepped closer but froze when my phone buzzed again. This time a notification from our family group chat, a place already silent for months. Elena has been removed. Just like that. The Rhodes family had officially erased me. My legs almost gave out. But before I could spiral, another message appeared. Unexpected, out of place. Unknown number. You need to pack your things. Tonight. My heartbeat stuttered. Another vibration. Unknown number. They are not just cutting you off. They are preparing something bigger. And you're not safe there. A cold wave washed over me. Who was this? How did they know? I typed back with trembling fingers. Who are you? 3 dots blinked, then disappeared. Another voicemail arrived. Not from Mom. From my aunt, Valerie, the only person in the family who used to treat me like I mattered. Her voice cracked as she whispered. Elena, sweetheart, don't go home. They found out about your father. The real one. And they are planning to. Beep. Cut off. Again. Mia grabbed my arm. Elena, what is happening? I didn't know. All I knew was this. My mother's message wasn't a rejection. It was a warning disguised as cruelty. And whatever my family was moving on without, wasn't me. It was the truth. The truth they spent decades burying. And now someone terrified, was trying to dig me out before they got to me first. I picked up my keys. Pack your stuff, I said to Mia, voice trembling but determined. We're leaving tonight. Because my family wasn't cutting ties. They were preparing for war. Mia didn't argue. She just nodded, grabbed her backpack, and started stuffing it with whatever she saw first. Hoodies, chargers, the mug she stole from her ex's place. Meanwhile, I stood frozen in the middle of the room, my mind spiraling through 29 years of memories like a Rolodex spinning out of control. Why now? Why a voicemail instead of a conversation? Why the sudden urgency from Aunt Valerie? And the mysterious number? A gust of cold air pushed through the cracked window, snapping me out of my daze. I needed answers before fear swallowed me whole. I called Aunt Valerie. 1 ring. 2. 3. Voicemail. Valerie, please call me back. I don't understand what's going on. Mom left. I swallowed, unable to repeat the words. Just call me. I hung up, hands shaking. Mia zipped her bag. Okay. Where do we go? We can't run without a plan. I know. But I didn't. I opened the family group chat, something I swore I'd never do again. All I saw were my mom's passive-aggressive Bible quotes, my stepdad Ethan's weekend fishing photos, and my sister Claire's endless selfies captioned Family First yellow heart. The irony made my stomach twist. But then I noticed something new. A pinned message at the top. Posted 8 minutes ago. By Mom. I clicked it. It wasn't text. It was a document. A legal document. My chest locked up as I read the title. Petition for Emergency Guardianship and Financial Redirection. Subject, E. Rhodes. Subject, me. What the hell? I whispered. Mia rushed to my side. Elena, what is that? I scrolled. There, in cold legal language, my own mother was petitioning the court to declare that I was mentally unfit for independent financial or personal decision-making. My throat tightened. Below that were statements signed by my sister Claire, claiming I was unstable, irresponsible, and a danger to myself.
They were painting me as incompetent. Why? Why now?
Unless this had something to do with the inheritance, the one my grandmother left behind. The one my mother always said I had no business touching.
A sudden knock rattled the door. Mia and I froze.
3 slow, deliberate knocks. I mouthed, "Don't move."
My phone buzzed again. Unknown number.
"Do not open the door. They sent someone."
Chills crawled up my spine.
Mia's eyes widened, terrified.
The knocks grew louder. More aggressive.
"Elena," a deep male voice called.
Not familiar. Not friendly.
I grabbed Mia's wrist and backed us toward the fire escape window.
Another message came through. Unknown number. Go out the window. Now. No time to think.
I shoved the window open as the door handle twisted violently behind us.
Mia climbed out first.
I followed, heart banging against my ribs. Below us, the alley was lit only by a flickering streetlight, and the December wind stabbed at my face.
We ran. Not because we knew where to go, but because for the first time in my life, my family wasn't trying to hurt my feelings.
They were trying to hurt me, and I needed to know why, before they succeeded. We didn't stop running until the alley opened into a dim back street behind an old laundromat. My lungs burned, my hands shook, and the December cold sliced through my thin jacket like needles.
Mia bent over, gasping.
"Elena, who was that?" she whispered. I shook my head, leaning against a rusted dumpster for balance.
"I don't know."
But they weren't here to talk.
My phone buzzed again. I almost dropped it. Unknown number. Get to the corner of 9th and Willow. Don't go to your car.
Don't call anyone. Don't go home.
Mia's eyebrows shot up.
We're just going to trust a stranger now.
I couldn't answer.
Because according to every instinct screaming inside me, that stranger was the only one not trying to destroy me tonight. We stayed pressed against the wall, peeking around the edge of the alley. The man who had come to the apartment stepped out the front door. He wasn't huge, but he was solid, black coat, shaved head, jaw clenched like he was annoyed he'd missed us.
He scanned the street. Then his eyes lifted. Straight toward the alley.
I yanked Mia back into the shadows.
He started walking. Closer.
Mia mouthed silently. "Oh my God." I forced myself to breathe evenly, my heart pounding so loud I feared he could hear it. When his footsteps neared the alley mouth, I instinctively reached for Mia's hand.
But then,
a loud crash erupted behind him. A group of drunk college guys stumbled out of a bar, knocking over a garbage can. The man whipped around toward the noise. That was our opening. "Go," I whispered. We darted across the street, sticking to shadows until we reached 9th and Willow, a quiet block with closed shops and one flickering street lamp buzzing like a dying insect.
"Now what?" Mia asked.
Before I could answer, a car rolled toward us, a dark gray sedan.
The window lowered slowly, and my heart dropped.
"Aunt Valerie."
I gasped. She looked older.
Not in a natural way, in a haunted way. Her hair disheveled, her eyes red, her hands trembling on the steering wheel.
"Elena," she whispered urgently. "Get in."
"Both of you."
We hesitated. Mia leaned close.
"Are you sure?
You said she was the only one who cared, but that was years ago."
"People change."
I knew that.
I also knew the man searching the street for us had just turned the corner again.
I opened the back door. "Get in," I said.
The moment it shut, Valerie sped off, tires screeching.
I stared at her through the rearview mirror. "Tell me what's happening. Why does my own mother want guardianship over me?
Why did she say I'm not family?" Valerie's knuckles whitened on the wheel. "Elena, your mom isn't doing this because she thinks you're unstable," she said, voice breaking. "She's doing it because of what your grandmother left behind." "I knew it," I whispered. "It's about the inheritance."
"No," she cut in sharply.
"It's not the money. It's what came with it."
I frowned.
"What does that even mean?"
Valerie swallowed hard. And then she said the words that made my blood run cold. "Elena, the man who raised you isn't your real father. Your grandmother left documents proving it. Your family found out you're the rightful heir to something much bigger than money.
Something they are willing to silence you for."
My heart stopped. What heir? What documents?
"Valerie, what did Grandma leave?" Suddenly, headlights flooded the rear window. A black SUV appeared behind us, accelerating fast. Mia screamed. They found us. Valerie floored the gas.
Elena, listen to me, she cried.
Your mother will destroy everything to keep you from learning the truth.
But I won't. Not this time.
The SUV swerved closer. Hold on.
Valerie shouted.
The night split open with fear as we sped through it, my entire life unraveling with every mile. Valerie swerved sharply, tires screaming against wet asphalt as the SUV behind us closed in. The streetlights outside blurred into long streaks of gold. The city looked unfamiliar at this speed, distorted, frantic, like we'd slipped into a parallel version of my life where danger lurked behind every corner.
Mia clutched the door handle.
They are getting closer. I turned, heart pounding, watching the SUV inch forward until its grille nearly kissed our bumper. A man leaned out the passenger window, arms stretched, something glinting in his hand. Valerie!
I shouted. I see him, she snapped back.
She jerked the wheel, cutting down a narrow side street. The SUV tried to follow but skidded, hitting the curb before correcting.
It bought us only seconds.
Elena, Valerie gasped, her voice cracking. I should have told you years ago, but your mom, your whole family, made sure I kept quiet. About what?
I demanded. What am I heir to?
Her hands trembled. Not money. Though yes, your grandmother left plenty of that.
But something more powerful.
Something your mother spent 30 years hiding. What?
I felt Mia's eyes on me, terrified. Valerie didn't answer immediately.
Instead, she whispered, your real father wasn't who you think he was.
He wasn't some fling.
He was.
A deafening crack slammed into the rear window. We screamed. Glass spiderwebbed. The SUV was back.
Valerie, drive.
I yelled.
I'm trying. The sedan lurched forward as Valerie pushed the engine harder than it was built for.
My pulse hammered in my ears.
The SUV pulled beside us now, too close.
A second man leaned out. Another glint. Another shot.
Valerie took a hard right, and the shot missed, but barely. What do they want?
Mia cried.
Me? I whispered.
They want me. Valerie's voice shook.
Your mom wants control over your grandmother's estate, over the trust, over the land, over everything. But the truth is, the documents name you. And once you turn 30 in 10 months, everything automatically transfers to you.
I blinked.
But that's just inheritance law.
No, Elena, she whispered. This isn't just a trust.
It's the deed to a property your grandfather hid for decades, a property worth hundreds of millions because of what's underneath it.
Mia swallowed.
Underneath.
Valerie nodded. Oil. A private reserve he kept secret.
If your family controls it, they get everything. If you control it, they lose everything.
I felt dizzy. Oil?
A hidden reserve?
My mother had always lived like money was her birthright. Now it made sense.
So they are trying to legally declare me unfit so they get everything instead, I whispered.
Valerie nodded. Exactly. And if they can't do it legally?
They'll do it physically, Mia finished in a trembling voice.
A third shot shattered the back taillight. Valerie cursed.
We can't outrun them forever. We don't have to, I said suddenly.
Turn left up ahead.
There's a construction site.
Bring them there.
Both women stared at me. Elena, why?
Mia whispered. Because they think I'm weak, I whispered.
Because they think I'll run forever. As the SUV roared closer, I straightened, gripping the seat.
But they forget, I'm a Rhodes.
And we don't run. The sedan screeched as Valerie turned sharply toward the dark skeletal frame of a construction site.
Tonight would not end with them catching me. Tonight would end with answers.
And maybe, for the first time, I wouldn't be the one afraid. The construction site loomed like a giant skeleton, half-finished beams, exposed concrete, plastic sheets flapping like torn sails in the winter wind. Valerie's sedan bounced violently over uneven gravel before skidding to a stop behind a stack of steel beams. The SUV screeched to a halt just outside the entrance.
Mia grabbed my arm.
Elena, we're trapped. No, I said quietly, opening my door.
They are.
Elena, are you insane?
Valerie hissed. Get back inside. But I had already stepped out.
For 29 years, I had been the quiet one, the peacekeeper, the one who endured insults in silence because family is complicated. Tonight, I felt something inside me shift, somewhere between survival and fury. I was done being the Rhodes family's obedient shadow. The cold wind whipped my hair as I walked onto the open slab, boots crunching on loose gravel. Behind me, Mia and Valerie whispered urgently, panicked. But I didn't waver. The SUV door slammed. A man stepped out, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing gloves despite the mild cold. His partner followed. They looked more like private contractors than family associates. Which meant my mother was paying people now. Of course she was. Elena Rhodes, the taller man said, voice low. You need to come with us. I smirked. Funny. My family couldn't bother to send flowers when I graduated, but when it's time to steal my life, they send a full welcoming committee. He didn't react. Your mother wants to talk to you. That's all. If she wanted to talk, I replied, she wouldn't have started with a voicemail disowning me. A flicker of surprise crossed his face, just 1 second too long. So you don't know why she's doing this, I said softly. Interesting. His jaw tightened. I'd struck a nerve. Before he could answer, the second man lunged. But I had expected that. I dodged sideways, gravel skidding beneath my feet. He reached for me again, too slow. I grabbed the length of metal rebar lying on the ground and swung it upward with enough force to make him stumble back. Elena! Mia screamed. Valerie flung open her door. Run! But I didn't run. The second man steadied himself, clearly irritated. We're trying not to hurt you. Really? I lifted the rebar. Because the bullets suggested otherwise. His partner glared at him. You fired at the tires. Not at her. Didn't feel like that from inside the car, I snapped. Another pair of headlights appeared at the far end of the site. My blood froze. Not another SUV. A familiar car. My mother's. The sleek silver Lexus she treated like her fourth child. She stepped out, perfectly composed in a beige coat, hair pinned, eyes cold enough to freeze bone marrow. Elena, she said, her voice controlled, elegant, poisonous. Mom. No more running. She approached slowly, heel clicks echoing off the unfinished walls. Come home. We need to discuss the guardianship paperwork. Mia shouted from the car. She's not mentally unfit. You're lying. Mom didn't even look at her. Your friend should be careful speaking on matters she doesn't understand. My stomach twisted. Why are you doing this? Mom clasped her hands in front of her as if she were delivering a church announcement. You're not stable, Elena. You've always been impulsive, emotional, unpredictable. Courts listen to mothers, not estranged daughters. So you want everything Grandma left. A small smile. I want what is rightfully mine. You mean the oil land, I said. The smile vanished. Silence. The men exchanged glances. And something in my mother's eyes changed, shifted, like a mask slipping for just a second. You weren't supposed to know about that, she whispered. She told me, I said, pointing at Valerie. Mom's expression twisted into something darker. Of course she did. Behind me, Valerie gasped. Because my mother's hand moved inside her coat. Not for a gun. For something even more dangerous. A document folder. My grandmother's will. The real one. Elena, Mom said, stepping closer. Sign over your rights tonight, and we all walk away safe. I stared at her. For the first time in my life, I saw her clearly. This woman wasn't trying to protect me. She was trying to erase me. I tightened my grip on the rebar. I'm not signing anything, I whispered. My mother stepped forward, eyes blazing. Then, Elena, you leave me no choice. Agent Rowan's arrival didn't just shift the atmosphere. It detonated it. The men my mother hired froze instantly, their expressions folding from aggression into unease as the red laser sights painted their bodies. The metal beams above echoed with the steady, synchronized footsteps of Rowan's team, professional, disciplined, and absolutely not the type hired by desperate families with fading influence. My mother stood pale as bone, clutching the folder of forged documents like it was the last piece of stability she had. Her voice, always polished, cracked for the first time. Cade, this is a misunderstanding, she said, the words strained. My daughter is confused. She needs guidance. Rowan raised a hand, silencing her without even looking in her direction. Mrs. Rhodes, he said, voice flat, we have weeks of recorded attempts to coerce your daughter. Financial manipulation, psychological leverage, falsified guardianship claims, and, he turned slightly, eyes glinting, tonight's attempted unlawful detainment.
My mother's breath stuttered. He stepped toward me instead.
Elena, Rowan said gently, your grandmother anticipated everything your family might try.
She documented everything.
She left a sealed affidavit and a protection request with our office.
I felt my throat tighten.
Why? Why didn't she ever tell me? She wanted to protect you without putting you in danger before the legal trigger date, he replied. Your 30th birthday activates full transfer of her estate and land deeds to you. She feared your family might take action early if they knew. A broken sound left Valerie's lips. She covered her mouth, trembling. She had suspected, but she never knew the extent. My mother snapped, you have no right, Elena is my daughter. Rowan turned slowly, finally giving her his full attention. Anne, it wasn't gentle. It's because she is your daughter that this office is involved, he said coldly. You had motive, opportunity, and decades of resentment. And tonight, you escalated to criminal-level coercion.
One of the armed men stepped forward.
We didn't lay a hand on her.
Rowan faced him sharply. But you were prepared to.
And we recorded everything.
The man's face fell. My mother shook her head violently.
Elena, you don't believe this, do you? They are twisting things. You know how emotional you can be.
I laughed.
Not because it was funny, but because it was the same script she used my entire life. Mom, I said quietly, I'm emotional because you spent 29 years teaching me that my feelings didn't matter. But tonight, the truth matters more. She flinched. Behind me, Mia stepped forward. Tell her, Elena.
I faced my mother fully.
You disowned me before you thought I'd discover the truth, I said. You sent men to drag me home.
You filed false documents.
You tried to paint me as unstable so you could steal everything Grandma left.
You never wanted to protect me.
You wanted to erase me.
My mother's mask cracked.
And underneath was pure, unfiltered panic. Elena, if you sign the transfer now, we can fix this, she pleaded. I can make the charges disappear. I can.
No, I said softly. She froze. Rowan stepped beside me.
Ms. Rhodes, you're under protective custody until your grandmother's estate hearing. You'll have full legal representation.
You are safe. Safe. A word I hadn't felt in years.
But then, unexpectedly, Rowan leaned closer and whispered, there's something else your grandmother wanted you to see.
Something only you could open.
I'll take you there once we secure the scene.
My pulse jumped. Another secret? Another piece of this puzzle?
Before I could ask, Rowan's team moved in, instructing the hired men to step back and drop their weapons. The SUV crew complied reluctantly, hands raised.
My mother didn't move.
Elena, she whispered again, voice shaking now, I did everything for this family.
For you.
For your future.
For your control, I said.
And it ends tonight.
Her eyes hardened like concrete drying mid-crack. Rowan signaled his team. Handcuffs clicked. The men were detained.
Valerie cried softly into her hands. Mia stood beside me, gripping my arm in disbelief.
And my mother,
the woman who had shaped my entire life through conditional love,
stood motionless as Rowan approached her.
Mrs. Rhodes, he said, you're coming with us. Her jaw clenched, but she didn't resist as he took the folder from her hands.
She looked at me one last time.
But it wasn't hatred I saw.
It was fear. Not of losing the land, but of losing the daughter she never realized wasn't hers to control.
As they led her away, Rowan turned back to me. Elena, he said, it's time to show you what your grandmother left in your name. The wind howled through the hollow structure around us, but for the first time in my life, I wasn't afraid of the storm. I was ready to walk into it. Agent Rowan led me out of the construction site as blue and red lights flickered across steel beams. My mother, once the immovable center of our family universe, now sat in the back of a federal vehicle, hands folded tightly, jaw clenched, eyes refusing to meet mine. Her kingdom collapsing one stone at a time. For the first time in my life, she wasn't orchestrating the moment. She wasn't the center. I was.
Rowan opened the car door for me.
Elena, there's a facility your grandmother used for private records. She instructed that only you, and only when safe, could access it.
The drive was quiet. Mia held my hand.
Valerie stared out the window, tears drying on her cheeks.
And I felt something unfamiliar move through my chest.
Stability. As we pulled into a gated property nestled behind tall trees, memories rushed back. Summer visits to Grandma's small cabin, the smell of lavender, the way she always hugged me longer than anyone else. Rowan keyed in a code and guided me inside.
The cabin looked untouched. A thin layer of dust. Her rocking chair. Her knitted blanket.
And then, Rowan pressed a concealed switch behind a wooden frame.
A panel slid open.
Inside sat a single metal case with my name engraved. Elena Marie Rhodes.
For her eyes only. My hands trembled as I unlatched it.
Inside were documents, official deeds, geological surveys, trust papers, and a handwritten letter sealed in a lavender envelope.
My breath caught. Grandma's handwriting.
I opened it slowly. My sweet Elena, if you are reading this, then the truth has finally reached you.
Your mother was never meant to control our land.
Not because she is unworthy, but because she cannot see beyond power. But you, my darling, you see people.
You see hearts. You see justice.
That is why everything belongs to you.
My throat tightened.
The land is rich, yes.
But its true value is what you do with it. Build something that heals.
Create a legacy free of fear. And know this, I loved you not because of blood, but because of who you are.
My vision blurred.
You are always the rightful heir.
You were always the heart of this family.
Even when they refused to see it. I pressed the letter to my chest, exhaling shakily.
Rowan watched quietly.
There's more. Behind the documents was a USB drive. Encrypted, federal seal protected. What's on it?
I whispered.
Evidence, Rowan said. Your grandmother documented everything your mother and stepfather did. Financial fraud, coercion, manipulation, attempts to seize the estate. Your testimony plus this drive, it closes the case completely.
I nodded slowly. A strange calm washed over me. Not rage. Not sorrow.
Just clarity. When we left the cabin, dawn was rising, soft pink light stretching across the horizon like a fresh beginning. Back at the city station, I watched as agents escorted my mother inside. She finally glanced at me, eyes full of something between fury and disbelief. How could you do this to us? She whispered. I stepped forward, voice steady. I didn't destroy this family, I said softly. You did the moment you decided money mattered more than your daughter. She flinched.
Just slightly. But enough. I leaned closer. And Grandma was right. Legacy doesn't belong to the loudest voice.
It belongs to the truest one.
Her expression cracked.
And in that instant, I felt the weight of decades lift.
She wasn't larger than life. She wasn't unbreakable. She wasn't the force controlling my world.
She was just a woman who lost the one thing she could never buy back.
Me.
As they led her away, my breath steadied.
Mia hugged me. Valerie cried openly. Agent Rowan nodded with something like respect.
And for the first time, I spoke the truth out loud. I'm ready to build my own life now.
No shadows. No fear. No chains disguised as love. Just freedom. Just the legacy meant for me. Just the beginning of everything they tried to bury. I stepped outside as the sunrise washed over the city. A new chapter.
Quiet, sovereign, unshakable.
Finally unfolding.